What is going on? You are watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live version. It's Wednesday night, of course, and it's the first day of autumn or fall, however you call it. I'm your
Aww.
host, Steve V, alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell are you doing on this first day of fall?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful in my shorts the first day of fall. That's the way you should start it off, right? In
With
shorts and a tank
shorts?
top.
Yeah,
In a tank top.
it was humid here for the first day of fall, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Booty shorts, tank top, all of that.
all of that. We cannot give up
Tits
summer
out.
just yet. This is, by the way, episode 301, 301, if you can believe it. A little later in the show, though, I'm really excited. One of our favorite people that watches the show, who has a brand new short film out, Teddy Alexis Rodriguez, is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about that short film that you guys can watch and vote on now. It's called Hell No. That's how I like to say it. Hell no.
That is the way it should be said,
Hell
okay?
no. So we'll get into that. Just a little programming note. If you want to, we do 2 shows a week, but we also do exclusive extra shows. We do the weekly Tags After Show, which gives you a little bit more behind the scenes and insight into the show, plus a twice monthly doc and dirty after show, which is a lot of fun. And on
Ooh.
this one that I just produced last weekend is the top 5 moments. I count down the top 5 amateur moments of myself that I've filmed
Okay.
with other people. Yeah,
Oh.
and I think I only had 5 moments. So I need to. There was actually 6 moments that I filmed myself in amateur porn. One of
Oh.
them is a whole
Oh.
nother
You didn't
story that
say
I'll.
porn before.
Well, it's amateur. It's
Okay,
me.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Get a girl.
So you can get this extra content and support Tags Podcast by going to tagspodcast.com and look for exclusive content, and you'll get it.
Love it.
All right. Well, let's get into it because we've got a guest here, and I couldn't help but shout out to a sadness today to actor Willie Garson, who passed
Yes.
away today at the age of 57. And you guys will all know Willie because he played Stanford on Sex and the
Danny.
City. I loved Stanford. Apparently, according to TMZ, he had been battling cancer in recent
Mhm.
months, and but because the reboot on HBO Max they're filming currently for Sex and the City,
Yep.
I think he got some of his scenes in there. So
Oh, good.
yeah, all the cast has been shouting out to him, and I mean, God, what a lovely man. And I just love
Yeah.
the
He'll
character
be
of
missed.
yes. And interesting known fact on Garson, he rose to fame for his portrayal of Carrie Bradshaw's gay best friend on Sex and the City,
For
and for
sure.
a long time. And remember, if you know something about the show, Kodi, it launched in the mid 90s,
Hmm.
so there weren't a lot of gay actors out there, and certainly if you were gay and you were an actor, you did everything to keep it under the radar. And I know this
That's true.
also because I moved to LA in 1998 to become an actor, and my
Yep.
management was all about nope, it was all about parts playing the thug, the street, all those characters, and by all
Hmm.
means do not come out as gay. That was like a
Yeah.
big thing.
It
But
used to be a career ruiner.
yeah, and so for a long time, he didn't correct people who assumed that, like his character, Garson was gay as well. So he didn't correct them. Garson worried that a straight man playing a gay man would be controversial. And
Oh.
when that question came up, Garson would point to his other roles. And he is quoted as saying, "When I was on White Collar," which, as we all know, Matt Bomer, who is gay now but wasn't gay at the time,
He wasn't out. Yes.
Willie was a character on the show, and they were
Uh-huh.
friends. When I was on White Collar, no one ever asked me if I was a con man, and when I was on NYPD Blue, nobody ever asked me if I was a murderer. The actor said, and I think that's, I mean, right? But I think, you know, I think to hear that perspective, because we've talked on the show, I know you don't like straight actors playing gay characters now so
Not
much.
in this day and age, yes. But it was the 90s, it was a different time, and it was definitely a career ender to be out and proud, but that's not the case now. So, but I see his points and I see the validity of some of the things that he has to say, but I still think that as far as we need to give our LGBTQ family more options and more opportunities as far as acting is concerned.
We definitely do, but I think we were talking offline is in the 90s when he was Stamford,
Yes.
a lot of gay actors, there weren't a lot of out gay actors to even play the role of
It's
Stamford,
true.
and a lot of actors the gay actors wouldn't have wanted to play that, and I can attest to that being a former actor. So I think it says a lot coming from when he played the role to he didn't go on to play gay characters later on
Mhm.
and in the 2000s, and so I think it's a testament. And if Mario Cantone, who is out and proud,
Now,
can
yes.
endorse him, and Matt Bomber, who is out and proud, who was his co-star in White Collar, can endorse him, and they are
Yep.
living gay actors, he
Yep.
gets my vote as, yeah, rest in power.
Amen.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, we've got to move on to this story that has been making the rounds, and apparently, Cody, Buckingham Palace was built on a gay brothel.
Say word. The Queen's
Yeah,
got a dungeon
yeah. So there's this new
with whips and
historical.
chains.
Yeah, well, there's this new historical essay that revealed that Buckingham Palace actually sits on a site once famous for hosting a gay brothel and cruising ground. So there's this writer, Richter Norton, and he compiled some research in a new essay titled The Gay Subculture in Early 18th Century London. And in it, he quotes English politician Clement Walker as chronicling gay sex in Mulberry Garden, now the
Okay.
site of Buckingham Palace. And
Oh.
in 1649, Walker wrote of his new erected sodoms and spintries. Keep those words in mind, sodoms and
Okay.
spintries, as the Mulberry Garden at St. James. So for people that don't know, which I didn't know this, sodoms and spintries refer to brothels and sex workers. And
Oh.
there's another writer from the 1600s who kind of confirms John Wilmot, Earl of Rochester, who penned a poem about his love of link boys, young men tasked with carrying a torch alongside noblemen at night in the city. And I won't read you my the poem part of it, but it got me thinking that
Uh huh.
I believe this, Cody, that
I believe it
because
too. The Queen
yeah,
has her queens. She needs her queens.
right. Thank you. I like that. And if you think of it, it makes sense because we didn't just become gay in the 50s and beyond.
Exactly.
Post, there was people, it's been around forever, but it's always been secret sex. And I got looking around a little bit deeper into what other establishments have
You in these words, I'm
covered
loving it
up.
today.
Deeper. One of my favorite
Deeper, erected.
words.
I love it.
No,
I
I
am in love with
know.
it.
Well, it got me thinking that us gays have really christened a lot of establishments that are out around now, and we've
Oh,
really christened
really?
it. Yeah, sexually christened it. I can think of in San Francisco, my favorite place. My friend owns Asia SF. It features transgender performers and a staff, and it's amazing. It used to be the Pit, which
Oh,
underground sex dungeon, really. But I think that's a nice example of transitioning literally into Asia SF, which I think is a good one. We all
Okay.
know the West Side Highway here in New York City was known to have hookups all the time. Dos Caminos is a restaurant that there's several of them here in New York City, but the one in the meatpacking district used to be the Vault.
Uh,
And I can remember my ex-boyfriend telling me about it, that he would never go have guacamole and a margarita at that Dos Caminos because all he remembers is going there in the 90s and having it be a sea of fog and losing his friend in there. And his friend was like sucking off somebody, and there was,
oh my God.
shoots of cum going on the wall. And
Hey,
I don't know, would you want to
that's
find
that's
that
enticing to me. I want
next
the
to your
guacamole and semen. Yes, in one, all in one. Thank you. You know what? It just came back to me that I've actually been to a sex party. It wasn't in Dos Caminos, but it was on like the top floor of that same building.
There you go. See, yeah. I mean, we forget that there was all these amazing establishments. There's a place in the village called Sugar Factory that was
Uh-huh.
known as, what was this place? No, the Mine Shaft, notoriously for raunchy gay
I want to
sex.
go there for sure.
Yeah, Left Bank, currently here in New York City, was also known to be the Studs legendary side room. What else do we have? Shake Shack was known to
What?
be, yep, Shake Shack in Times Square was the Adonis male porn adult theater. Ooh,
I've been to plenty of those, I feel like.
don't you miss those?
I do miss those. I think they
I
still exist in like more rural areas of the country, but here
They
now,
do.
yeah.
There was one. I'm so happy I came to New York in 1994, and there was a place
Okay.
called the Gaiety, and it was in Times Square, and it was a theater that obviously showed
Square?
gay porn, but
Uh-huh.
literally had a roster of talent that would perform, and they would perform right in your
Ooh.
face. You got cum shots in your, literally 3D in your face, and it was like legendary. And I feel like I got a piece of that last bit of some of these
Old New
really
York.
old New York that was just awesome. I miss that. And
Oh, I
so
want that
if
experience.
you
Take
dig a
me
little
back.
deeper, you can find we have christened some really amazing establishments. And
Awesome.
yeah,
It's a little
times
sad though,
change.
because it feels like we've been pushed out a lot of those places. So there's that also. There's that aspect of it also.
Absolutely. Gentrification and development has, I mean, I feel in a lot of ways we're safer in many ways, although I don't know
Yeah,
so much these days
I was
with,
gonna say.
yeah, bring back my sex dungeons and my cocktail. All right. Well, we have one more topic we have got to get to, and
Let's go.
so I was laughing because to do the show, I watch a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of entertainment shows, and sometimes there's something that piques my interest. And recently, there's been a slew of celebrities deciding that they know about dating, and these come from some straight celebrities. And the first one comes from, and I want to get your feedback on, Alicia Silverstone, Cher and Clueless,
Mhm.
who recently is on the market, single and dating. And she said on the first date, absolutely sober, no alcohol, rule number one. Okay, there's that. Then Cameron Diaz, out of the woodwork, goes on the Drew fucking Barrymore show. Don't like it, and uses the term hardballing, which I didn't even know what that was. Have you ever heard of this hardballing?
No, I have not.
So,
No.
okay. So she uses this word. Diaz explains that hardballing is when one treats their dating life like they're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and they make hard decisions fast. So, quote, so anybody that doesn't meet your criteria has got to go, she notes. So she says things, and interestingly enough, on the show, they have Ross Matthews, who we all know
And love.
and love from Drag Race, who's
Drag
very
race.
gay, and he didn't really agree with hers. He says, "Isn't first dates to be about what's your favorite color and what kind of pizza do you like?" And I think there's something in between, but I have to ask you, Kodi, when you met your boyfriend of now
My
6 months,
boyfriend.
uh,
No. We've been going about 9 months now.
okay, did you hardball him on, and hardballing, just to give a little bit more, like, what are your beliefs? Are you spiritual? Do you want kids? Those kinds of things. Do you want an open, I guess our hardballing would be, do you believe in open relationships?
Okay.
And did you drink?
Okay, so I hardballed him, but not in the way Cameron Diaz hardballed him. That was such an easy joke. So I had
Okay.
to put that one out there.
And isn't that the truth about us gays, is
Hello, goodbye.
we
We
we do
definitely
all the
hardballed.
opposite. We drink too much and then we hardball it all the way, and then that's probably the problem. So do you think,
Exactly, honey.
okay, but what about
So
the,
I did ask him. We got to know each other on, I wouldn't say a service level, but we on an intimate level, and but it wasn't about expectations. I feel like it should be partial, getting to know that person and planning for the future, but not really ruling a whole bunch out. I feel like Cameron Diaz wants to rule out some people. It's important to know what you want, but when you have that hard line there, it doesn't leave any room for the relationship to grow. And there's so much growth that happens in relationships, no matter what kind of relationships they are. So I think she's missing out. Is she married by the, oh, she is. She's married to Benji Madden. And I would not employ him in my Fortune 500 love life, just so anybody knows.
well, Silas also says, who's watching the show live right now on Get Vocal with us,
Yes.
says she's also of a certain age, but maybe she shouldn't be commenting because she found her man and she's good to
It's
go.
true.
I know that the one thing about gay dating is I think it should just be lighter and you should have fun. But to me, like one time I met this guy, a friend of a friend, and he made this whole thing about, he was like on this quest to date, and he had like
Okay.
a dinner with one guy, and then it was like, it was all these dinners, and I thought,
Yeah.
see, to me that's wasting time. If you really want to date and find somebody, I go on a drink, meet up for somebody for a drink, or like during the pandemic, meet somebody for a walk in the park, because to me you
Yes.
don't want to waste all your time, and I don't want
With
to
a
waste,
drink.
and I don't want to waste a meal on somebody that I don't
That's how I
even,
operate. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that to me, but I don't know about hardballing is really cute. I feel like you're just going to scare too many people away if you start
It's
getting
true.
all into that. Us gays are
When
a
you have a
little,
checklist, that's too much. That's excessive. I
well, I
feel
guess
like.
we all should probably have some sort of checklist internally about, do you want kids, if that's a big thing, or do
Yeah,
you believe in open marriage? But does it really have to come out in the first date? I mean, I don't think that's necessary.
you have to leave room for growth. That's my final answer on that.
Leave room for growth. I like that. Yeah. And this
Yes.
business about not drinking, I mean,
I can't
Alicia,
make it through a date without drinking.
no, because I think maybe she's coming from a place for that, she knows herself, and I think that was part of the thing, is she knows
Yeah.
herself, and beyond two it's too easy to slip into three, and then she knows herself, and at three she's not in control of what's the next
Okay.
step.
Well, I
And
can see that.
so if that's the case, then I could, yeah, I think that could be, but to me I can control it, and alcohol to me,
Especially just after one. I'm okay after one.
yeah, I mean maybe coffee, but I don't know. Coffee to me is before 5 p.m., and I'm never available or free before 5, nor do I want to be ready. So to me, I'm at post 5, and that means a cocktail or a glass of wine, and I can control
Yes.
myself. And believe me, if I'm not feeling it with you, I'm out.
Exactly. Short dates it for the first date, and that way you can kind of gauge whether or not you want to ever again. Did I ever tell you about the first date where we had coffee and I almost fell asleep? How do you fall
Make
asleep?
it quick because we got to bring on our special
Well,
guest.
that's the whole story basically.
Oh,
How do you fall asleep? Somebody is that boring that you can fall asleep during
over
a
coffee,
coffee
over
date?
caffeine.
Over a coffee date. Yes, exactly.
I love it. Bum, bum, bum. I love it. Well, on that note, we've got to bring in our very special guest, Teddy Alexis Rodriguez. Grab a spot
Yay!
and
Applause!
join the
Applause!
show. Applause, applause.
Hello, hello. Hello, darlings.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
How are
Welcome.
you?
Really good. Teddy, you watch the show, our show. Thanks for being a listener and a viewer. And you have this brand new short film that's currently playing that people can vote on called Hell No. How do you say it?
Hell no. Yeah. So the hell no, it's basically the expression that the brothers say whenever there is a blackout. Because I'm Puerto Rican, and the Puerto Ricanness is seeping through the short film, even though it's not technically in Puerto Rico. That there is a blackout because there's so many blackouts in Puerto Rico. So basically, that's the title.
Well, we love the film. Kodi and I both got to see it, and everybody else can watch it too on Reverie. We're going to tell you how in just a minute. But you wrote, directed, produced, probably did craft service, and everything in between. I know how hard it is.
I hire someone for craft.
I know how all that is. Just saying. In general, can you just tell us the storyline? Because from what I get, from what we saw, it's about two estranged brothers, if you will. One brother, your character, because you star in it, is in America doing well, successfully, and your brother is visiting you. And we start the whole film with him in the mirror wanting to go out. And it's about connecting these two brothers who have been sort of estranged. And your brother, who's great in the film, is recently divorced. And what else can you tell us about the film to kind of set the stage?
Well, first of all, I need to take you on the road to explain the film for me, because that was excellent.
Yes.
So the brother is played by Moises Chavez, by the way, who is part of the cast of 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, and is somebody that I adore. He's a indigenous Latinx actor here in Los Angeles. And yeah, it's a story of about two brothers that are trying to reconnect and keeping that connection alive. Because, once you move out of the house, you don't really have to have a relationship. You have to work on it, especially if the geography is completely different. He's in Puerto Rico, and I am in the United States. So that's why I wanted to show that.
Well, I know Kodi has some questions, but I had to get this quote in that when I was watching it, it reminded me so much of I'm so close to my sister. She's my business partner. And there's a line where your brother says, "Stop talking about me in my absence." And you say, like, referencing your mother, like and he says, "That's our favorite topic, is to talk about."
Isn't it, huh?
And I've often told my sister that too. It's
goes.
like when mom and I are talking about it, we always say this event, and she's like, "Well, when I'm with mom, we talk about you."
Of course.
And so I love that. That was such. And I think my favorite thing about the film was, as a short film, is you have to make the stakes really high. You have to keep it simple and get us in the moment. And what you did, you surrounded it all with sort of a horror theme coming up on Halloween right now. I think it's like a perfect time thing. Kudos to you. And I loved those themes that you just tackled. Major themes: divorce, HIV, and family.
Yeah, because one of the things that when you're pursuing directing, it's a little harder now, because back in the day, I don't know if you remember, because this is like 30s and 40s, feature films used to be attached to a short film. So that was a path for directors to kind of showcase what they could do, and then maybe get work as directors of a feature film. Right now, we have to kind of self-create our short films, kind of move it around on the festivals, and kind of build a path that way, get footage that we can showcase. So if I try to put a lot of themes into it, it's very purposeful. So then I can showcase in different like sizzle reels and different things that I can pitch myself. So it's very purposeful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, one of my favorite things about the movie was that it's a horror film, and I love that. So I love horror. Scary movies are my all-time favorite. And with it being a horror film, what were some of the underlying horror aspects that were woven into the main themes?
So, honestly, I wouldn't call it a horror film. I would call it a film that has horror sprinkled around. Because sometimes when we get to the horror films, there has to be kind of like a supernatural thing going on. And I don't think that was my purpose. But if you saw that, hey, I'll take it. And so some of the themes that I really wanted to hit on was definitely family, definitely HIV. And if you notice, my whole cast is LGBT, except for one. But the characters don't necessarily are LGBT. Some of them are, some of them maybe are not. So it's a queer film in essence because all of the creators are queer. And that's one of the things that is very important to me because like we were talking about, the 90s were a very different era for queer creators, which the only path to create was not to be queer. So that's one of the most important themes in my film as well.
Fabulous. Love that.
I love it. Did you have another question, Kodi?
I do. And it has to do with representation. You just brought up representation. And I noticed that there are only about years that are on screen. Can you tell us a little about your decisions for so much representation that are in your film?
So I always try to hit multiculturalism as much as I can. The whole cast is Latinx, but we do have a mix of different races within the Latinx community. So the girls, one of them is Salvadorian and one of them is Brazilian. The main guys, I'm Afro-Latinx and Moises is Indigenous Latinx. So we kind of hit the whole spectrum in terms of Latinx representation. In terms of the crew, which is way more people than the people that you see, we have pretty much all across racially, and we have a really good divide in terms of gender, race, and ethnicity as well. So that's really important to me because that's part of the work that I do is advocate for inclusion.
Love that.
And what an amazing film to watch, support, vote for during Hispanic Heritage Month, which you cover all the gambit. I just love the themes that you really cover in this. And one of them that's subtle is your brother that is not living in the US, and then you who has essentially kind of made it, and that bond that is really there's a book that I read back in college called Borderlands about the whole borderlands of Chicano and being of Mexican descent and then being of an American Mexican descent, which is like myself. And that bridge that you captured and wanting to show that families are like that often. I think my sister and I were the first two, not just in my immediate family, but in all of our relatives, the only two to have gone to college. And I know that was such an important thing for my parents. And you covered that subtly, impactfully in this short film, along with so many themes. And so I have to give so many props to that because that's a reality of so many of our people.
Thank you for saying that. And yes, it's very subtle, but I have to honor my ancestry. My grandparents were sharecroppers. My parents were the first generation. Both of them are first generation college students. And for me, 2 generations later, to be able to have a privilege, because it is a privilege to create film, it's something that it wasn't even accessible 2 generations ago for me. So that is something that we really need to honor because that's part of my identity. So thank you.
There's a poignant line at the end, towards the end of it, where your character who's gay, HIV, who's trying to connect with his brother, says, "I'll protect you." And I couldn't help but think that I love that line, "I'll protect you." We all want to be protected. And was there anything about that you wanted your character to say that, your gay character to say that to your straight character, that changes perceptions about our LGBTQ perceptions out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very intentional because if you see the characters that we've seen, especially characters that are positive, they're always at the end of their lives helpless, and it's a different era, right? We have PrEP, we have so many things that give people that are HIV positive a complete life. And yeah, I wanted that character specifically to be financially stable, to be centered mentally, and to be able to take care of his brother, who is the one.
I hear a dog.
This is what happens.
Dogs. I love dogs.
Munch is gonna be on my next film, by the way.
What's his
That's
name?
A dog that I take care of. His name is Mochi. It's a white poodle.
Mochi, I love it. Oh.
Yeah, so I wanted that to be very purposeful. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, without giving away too much more, unless Kodi, you had another question, we have to promote this film because you guys can all watch it. Any other questions before we promote this film?
I just am so curious about how, without ruining the end, how did you come up with the end? Because it's such a twist. I did not see it coming, and it just shocked and surprised me. I just want to get into your brain and kind of figure it out.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you much about the ending. But one of the people that I really like as a storyteller is M. Night Shyamalan, the Black Indian director. He did Sixth Sense, Lady in the Water, all those films.
Yep.
So I'm always down for a big twist. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, no, I didn't want you to give away too much. I was like, should I even ask this question? But, but I'm so curious.
Well, I really loved it, and we want you all to watch it too. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it has been playing since September 7th through September 30th. So there's still time at the Queer X Film Festival, which is live on the Revry app, REVRY, Revry app, which people can go on there and they can vote for your film. Tell us a little bit about how they can view it, and we want you to win this.
So the Revry app is really cool because it's an app that has a bunch of channels and has all queer content. And one of the channels is playing the festival. So, and you don't even need to sign up. It's just like literally you download the app and you can start watching. We're nominated for Best Comedy Short. And I'll send you the link so we can get some votes because it will be great to win that award. And the festival is kind of like Outfest, but a little more quirky and a little more campy. So the content is really fun. There's a bunch of great filmmakers. There's Brandon Manglish, that is one of my good friends. Sebastian Lacasse, actually, friend of the pod. He has one of his films there too. He's in the drama category, so you can vote for both of us.
I'm voting for both of you.
Yeah.
Disciple, and I just saw it here in New York at the Dumbo Film Festival a couple weeks ago for the second time, and it's so good. He won that award there, so more reason Sebastian's been a guest on this show, a co-host on our show, so you can watch Disciple, vote on it in the drama category. You can watch Hell No on it and vote for that, and absolutely and you can get this on TAGSPodcast.com. We'll put the link on there. But Teddy, do you mind sticking around for some hot topics?
Please.
Okay, I am so for this. All right. Well, I had to get to this first topic because apparently there's 7 ways you can intensify your solo orgasms. And Teddy, are you single, hooked up? What's your deal?
I am very single.
I love it.
Purposeful, very purposeful. Like I said, I do everything very purposeful. So I'm open to invitations, hookups, dates, all of that.
Okay, I love that. Thanks for putting that out there. Absolutely.
She put the invitation out there. I love it.
Okay, Kodi Lajan is clutching his pearls. Okay.
Right. And so there's this new article out. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com. And there's some tricks of the trade that will give you the best orgasms possible without a man. Kodi, I know you're a big masturbation person. So
I am.
Whether you're tired of a grinder or you just want to feel a little special, here's some of the tips. And Julia Margot, she's the COO of this innovative sex toy brand, Hot Octopus, tells us research even indicates that regularly ejaculating can decrease chances of prostate cancer. Oh, we definitely want to avoid that. So this first one, I'll just read you a few of them, but raise tension in your legs. So it's a super simple tip that you can do by elevating your solo orgasm. So when you're masturbating on your back, lying on your bed as you are about to come, lift your legs up and hold them there, because our stomachs tend to tighten during moments of pleasure, and it can help lean into this further, and you should feel a little bit more. I'm all for this one because my legs are usually in the air during sex, but I do have one thing to say about this during sex is if you are fucking me and I'm getting close and I'm jacking off, do not lean into me so much that I can't jerk myself off. How do you know?
True.
You're usually on top. I'm
I
talking
am
to
on
you.
top. I'm on top, but I hate when they get really close and I can't feel everything down there.
Right. And so my whole thing is oftentimes they get so close that the legs are like by my ears and I can't get to and they're like, yeah, baby, come. I want to see you come. It's like, I can't because you're fucking ruining my jack off arm here. Move away. But I don't want to ruin the moment. But I'm doing this PSA right now to all you all out there to lighten up. If you really want us to, yeah, baby, I want to see you come, then let us have that full reign to jack off, and we will.
Well, also, 101 topping, if the bottom is about to come, is that because what you're doing is helping. So why are you changing the position? That's a bad idea.
Right. Stop leaning in so much.
There it is.
I love
tips from a versatile. I know from the both sides.
Okay, we got that. We're single and you're versatile, and you have a new movie out.
I guess I'm not sharing this in my social media.
And I also noticed something. I don't know that I ever noticed this, but whenever you sign into our Get Vocal live show, it says PhD. Speaking of our earlier story about hardballing, are you a PhD, Teddy?
Yeah, I do have a doctorate. It's not an innuendo.
I love that. And so with hardballing, according to Cameron Diaz, he checks off that box of
Look, can I give an opinion on that topic, or we're too late?
No, go ahead.
When you're trying too hard at the beginning, it's a problem, because sometimes somebody will bring something that you don't like, but they complement literally 98% of the things that you want. So
it's true.
Right. And you know what? If you're so hardballing it and not the way you were, Kodi, it's too structured. And to me, I like to think everything's always an acting thing for me. I like to think of it as Second City or The Groundlings. I want inspiration. I want you to say something that's going to spark, and that's going to spark something about me that I really like, that you're going to learn about. And if I'm so into do you have a PhD? Do you want kids? Do you, are you Latino? I am so in my head, and I'm not. And lastly, I'll say about that is I love laughter and humor, and you don't get all that if you're so
Yeah.
So
it's
now,
like jazz. You got to leave the room for the interpretation.
What you know about jazz?
Oh, I know plenty about jazz.
Okay.
We need to go to the jazz club.
Yes. All right. Don't forget about the balls, she says. the balls tug them, pull at them. Samantha, the doctor says, before you ejaculate, your balls move up. As we all know, they kind of shrivel up there to give
Mhm.
power to your squirt. So push them up as a little higher up there, and it should increase the intensity of your ejaculation. This is according to Arlene Goldman, who is also a PhD and the co-author of
Oh,
Secrets of Sexual Ecstasy.
Talk about hardballing.
we are just
Right.
a fancy podcast right now. We got 2 PhDs on deck right now.
There we
Love
go.
it.
Usually
other one-
PhD means that you have debt. It doesn't really mean what pays for so many degrees.
Okay, then my other hardball question is: do you own your own home and do you have debt? So we already got that.
Wow.
I like that one about the balls because
I didn't know that trick. I'm going to try that.
Well, grabbing the balls when someone is getting close can be so fun, I think, and we
Yeah.
forget.
But she
that
said to
that's
push them up.
I know, right? That is the
Well,
part
That
Right,
sounds
that I'm kind
painful.
of stressed
lightly. I think you're just pushing them up. It should increase the the squirt, and especially one of the other things she puts in here is Kegel exercises, which we've talked a lot about.
about. That
That
one I'm definitely doing.
Have
you
you
know,
two been keeping
right
up
now.
with your Kegels?
So
Right now, I'm doing them.
we're doing them right now because that's they
Okay.
wrote that in our contract for the show. But beyond that, I've noticed when I practice it, I squirt more and it works. And it's so easy to do
Really?
when I'm watching The View or something like that to just do my Kegel exercises. I mean,
If
it's
I
that
squirt
easy.
more, I'll put a hole in the wall. So I don't know about that.
Okay.
Wait, so you're telling me you're watching Whoopi Goldberg while doing Kegels? Is that what you're saying?
So as Kegel exercises aren't a sexual thing, they're just an exercise. And so I did squats earlier today and I wasn't thinking about sex, but that's going to get me laid when I go to jockstrap night, maybe later on tonight. And
Hey.
so sometimes
Ooh.
we just do things to
Got
increase.
it.
Yeah,
I
was
have
there
a
anything?
horrible joke. This is not true.
Go ahead.
Tell it.
Whoopi Goldberg definitely inspires me to puncture my butthole. Not puncture. What is that?
Oh my God.
What's that thing? What's that? I'm doing a thing. You have to watch the live show in order to get it.
Yeah, the squeezes
to
or
squeeze
whatever.
my butthole.
All right, Cody's going to post his
Cut that
Kegel
out.
exercises on camera for us. Lastly, you can double hand yourself. So while coming hands-free is definitely something we all want to try, doubling down on the task also works. So if you don't, essentially two hands, place one hand around the base of the penis and the other above and stroke. The idea is that you're stimulating the entire penis. And I do like that one. There's
Yes,
another
me
one in
too.
there that says, don't be afraid to take time, because we always masturbate. A lot of us do in 2 minutes, 5 minutes increments. Fast forward to that moment and really allow time, hours, a date night with yourself, and figure out other parts of your body that are stimulating. Do you like that, Teddy?
I like to take my time. Yes. And I masturbate every day. And it's like at least 20, 30 minutes. I got to do that.
Oh,
Oh, wow. You schedule
Well,
in 20, 30 minutes in the day?
It's my pre-sleeping thing. Yeah.
nice.
I mean,
one
I'm
of the-
single. I got to do
And
something.
One of the things that's also in the article is if you masturbate daily or multiple times a day, don't masturbate for a week or 2 weeks, and it'll intensify your. So that might
And
apply to
that's
you
true,
too.
Cody. Yes. I do that one a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
I do not believe in fasting when it comes to masturbating.
Just
Neither
watch
do
The
I. That's why I remember it, because I was like, I never do that.
Wait, she said there was like some toys, and they never mentioned the toys.
She said, and generally in toys, using toys, all kinds of toys. And
But what was that about the octopus?
So octopus is, I don't know what that one is. We're gonna have to find
It's
out.
the
But
world's first guy braider. Why do we have to have a guy braider? That is so Ew.
I have this really cool, it sounds weird because it's this glove, it's satin glove that is electro, you turn it on with a switch and it vibrates. So literally
Ooh.
it's like my hand, it would be good for Halloween to touch people, like if I created a whole look. And when you touch people, it vibrates. So when I put it on my dick, it vibrates my dick. Or anywhere else. It's very sensual and would help elongate the process and can be really cool. So,
Well, the flashlight that you sent me, remember?
yes.
That one has.
Oh, that's right. You won one. That's right. I was like,
won-
he sent Teddy a flashlight.
We're close that
I
way.
didn't get one. I was so jealous.
I won it through the podcast, through a
You did.
promotion, please. No, but it has an attachment that you can buy that is like a vibrating thing too, to put it on the
There you
tip
go.
of the penis.
I love it. All right. And Silas says two a days keeps the stress away.
2 times a day.
Twice a day.
Stress
Oh,
away.
It's that West Coast.
I
We
can't
need
see.
more
I know.
than.
All right. Well, we've got to get to our last topic, and it's our favorite one. It's called Thirst Trap Thursday when this comes out. And I'm so glad that you're going to weigh in with us, Teddy. It's our favorite thing that we started. It's about descriptively describing in straightupgayporn.coms. They do this every week. Sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 22. This week it's only 12, but they really curated the shit out of this week.
It was
pretty hot. We'll start with you, Kodi. Who is your favorite?
Okay.
And you got to descriptively describe. You guys can do it at home too, because this will be on TAGSPodcast.com tomorrow. And we want to hear who is your favorite and why.
Yes. So my vote goes to Colton Reese. He's the very first one. So, and he's facing front. It's a facing front shot. So that's already a new thing for me. And he's not showing any ass, and he's in the bathroom. And I don't usually like those, but I feel like I had to give a little bit of love to them because I don't usually like those kind, because like they have gel in there and all kinds of their products on there. I need for people to put a little bit more into their thirst traps. But anyway, he's so adorable that none of that matters. He's so cute. His body is looking right. He's got a beautiful penis, and I just think he's adorable. So Colton Reese, you get my vote for this week.
I love it. Did you have a chance to look at it, Teddy, and weigh in on this? Okay. Who was your favorite?
Well, 2 things. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and a couple of weeks ago was by awareness. You know that?
No, I didn't, but okay, good.
So the guy is Remy Duran.
Wait, did you just pick mine?
It's the same. We always pick the same.
I know, right?
He is Mexican and bisexual. He's a top, and he's light skinned. He has curly hair like all over his chest and a very bushy penis. But he is very well endowed, and he has a full beard and a full hair. He is gorgeous.
Wow, I love that. And I was going back and forth between who I wanted to go for. I see Remy now, and yes, he's very sexy. I was going to go with this guy, Johnson, who has a beautiful dick that's out there. But I think the one that I'm going to have to go for, because it's a video, is a guy, Owen Hawk. And you can
I almost picked him.
The caption, because it's a video, is "Glaze my donut." And he's shirtless and he's looking come hither over his shoulder, and he literally, with the black jeans that he has on, it's like a donut ass, and then he takes it down because he's not wearing any underwear, and I'm watching it right now. It is the most, it's almost like one of those toys that they created, the thing that you wanted, Kodi, that those fuckable ass toys.
I do want one of those. Yes.
He looks like he modeled for one of those ass rubber toys.
I would like his.
Fuck.
Yes.
And he's shaking it, and he's really getting that donut all ready so that he can be glazed, which we all know what that means. And so,
who doesn't love a glazed donut? Can we just say that?
I might want to glaze his donut. Yeah. I
Look
don't
at
like
you.
donuts.
You're exploring your top side. I love it.
I am.
Oh, the pandemic changed you, Steve.
I know. It's really,
Silas,
really. Yeah.
Silas says that he likes Sean Raymond, who's the very last one, and it's a video that you said that you liked him too, Steve.
Yes, a lot.
Yes, and he's gorgeous. So
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we have got to wrap this show. It's been so much fun having you on the show, Teddy. Thanks for playing along for the rest of the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a treat.
How can people follow you?
So my website is teddyrodriguez.com, and you can find all of my social media there. Whatever you use, I'm on it.
And then they should go to Reverie, the app, and watch the film Hell No.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no.
And you were saying that it's not on demand, but you can just they'll post a schedule on there and you'll see when it's playing and just watch it and vote for you.
Exactly. Right? So there's like a little TV guide that the app has. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the film. I really, really enjoyed it. I know Kodi did too. And
likewise, I did.
I saw you have a bunch of stuff coming up. So please come back anytime to talk about the new projects. We love it. And weigh in on some of the hot topics. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You can always follow Kodi at Mr. Maurice. Follow him.
There's Trap coming.
Okay now. And follow us on TAGSPodcast. Thanks so much, and keep having hot gay sex.
Thanks,
guys. So fun.